How's it going, folks? Time for a bit of a quick roundup on what's been going on around the place. We're starting off with the shed. So a while back I posted about my dad's old jack. It's an Aussie-made jack and I couldn't get it to work, but obviously it is doing the job okay now. I found the problem was that it was just seized up. So I sprayed a lot of penetrating oil, thank you very much Craig, into that. And then, yeah, basically hit the top with a sledgehammer over a section of timber offcut, and she came down. So it was just a little bit seized down in there, a little bit rusty. So I've got it at the moment, just propping up the back of the tractor until I get some time to find the rattle gun and take the wheel off and take it in and get it repaired. I was speaking to the chap in a local tyre place and he reckons it just needs a new tube in there, worst case scenario. She is a little bit chewed up in places, but should last for a couple more years. So the slasher I mentioned in the last video, yeah, we're thinking we might actually buy a new one. Someone mentioned, I'm sorry, I forgot who it is. I'll put your name up there, that maybe it's time just to buy a new one. All the secondhand stuff we've bought, we've had a few issues with everything we've got. This one here, we're getting a bit of bad rust next to the plate that the gearbox is mounted on, and it's also coming through underneath. So yeah, I could cut the whole deck out and do the rest of it. It's probably going to last another 12 months as is, minimum, but yeah, I could refurbish it and all the rest of it, or I could just buy a new one, get some sort of a warranty on it and leave it at that, and this one could become a project for later on. Worst case scenario, there's bits I can pinch off it to use for other builds, like this framework here. So yeah, it's one of those things. I think we're just going to end up springing for a new one. But before we worry about that, I need a tractor to drag it behind. So we've got to fix the tyre, get that off and get it into the shop. Jack just went running off. We had the neighbours' horses come for a visit this morning. And I think Jack was just seeing if they were still hanging around. They're not, Jack, they're gone. I'll give you a bit of a look at what we've done over here. There's the covering of a project we'll be getting into once we come back from a bit of a trip away. We have a couple more IBCs. One of those IBCs will be used as a sprayer basically. It'll begin its life as an applicator for the fungus we've got for the rat tail grass. Oh, sorry, to help break down organic matter in the paddock. And the other one will probably turn into a wicking bed. We might use it for aquaponics. These things here are fantastic for aquaponics because they've had ammonia in them, or urea base. Hang on, I've got a phone call from Bianca. So it was Bianca, just checking something, doing the orders at the local shop. If you want any nutcrackers, uniseals, you know the drill, guys. Anyway, yes, the AdBlue. It is basically an ammonia urea based additive that goes into diesel trucks to make them more greener. And as you can see, a little bit's come out here and it's killed the grass, which, oh no, it's killed some rat tail grass, what a pity. But this stuff is great because you can give it a quick rinse out and you can use it to cycle your aquaponics system because there's no real artificial chemicals in there or anything like that. So it's a fairly natural product, and some places have real problems trying to get rid of it. I actually got this from a large company who had a wall of them. So yeah, got a couple, one for the fertilizer and not sure what we're going to do with the other one. And here, making up some wicking beds using some old troughs. These were a part of an old aquaponics system, well actually a earthen garden system. So it's basically a wicking bed for an aquaponics system. It was flooded up to a level. There's an insert that goes in there and then drains out. You've probably seen these if you followed us for a while, used as wicking beds. So that's what I've done with these guys. And they've got two holes down there, but that's from the original build from Mr. Paul. If you ever see this, thank you, mate. Yeah, so we've made up one. And we didn't use your seed sowing mark for these ones. We've just been a bit busy and I've been a bit crook, so we've got some seedlings in from there, but we've got some other seedlings, seeds we're going to sow out from Mark. Thanks again, mate, and get them started there. And this bed here will be filled up once we get back from a little bit of a short trip. We need to go and get some soil for that. and go get some sand from that little gully down there to use as the wick that comes up. This one here, a very easy build really. I've got 2 layers of this pipe work in the base to give us a fairly tall reservoir. So it's about 8 inches or 200 mil of reservoir in the bottom. So in the center of the spiral of the ag line, I popped in a root pouch, filled it up with sand, and that's going to be the wick that brings it up to the surface. Put some geotextile over the top, stop the sand from going down all the nooks and crannies and settling over time as it finds the void. And then I put a layer of sand on top of that. So what happens is it comes up the central wick and then spreads out through the sand layer and then wicks up through the soil. And then on top of that, I didn't put the sugarcane mulch like I usually do because I didn't have any around and I just wanted it done. So I just put in the soil on top. Didn't feed it up at all. It's just a soil from a local supplier. It's made locally. It's got a lot of the mill mud from the sugarcane mills around Childers in there, and it makes a pretty rich blend from what I can see. I let that rest for about a week or so because we had a trip to do down south and come back, and that was actually good because it allowed the top to settle. And I dug down probably around about 20 centimeters, 8 inches, and it was nice and moist down there and cool. So what you'll find is when you first plant them out, you're going to have to water from the top so the water can basically stay around the root area, because the moisture from down below may not be enough at the start. The roots eventually will grow down. That's one thing people forget about wicking beds. They say, oh, it only wicks up 30 centimeters, which is, this one's about 40 high, I think, of soil. Yes, it may only wick up 30 centimeters or a foot, but remember, roots grow down. You know, roots don't like to go and find water, so that's part of the reason I like the wicking bed. You end up with a semi-dry layer up top, the water down below. As the water table falls, as it dries out, oxygen's drawn down into the soil for the microbes and the goodies that turn the organics into food for the plant. So yeah, I'm absolutely sold on these wicking beds, as you can probably tell. A little makeshift arrangement around it is to stop the wallabies from getting to it, because we have had a load of wallabies. I don't know if you can see all these little black dots on the ground around here, but we're getting inundated with wallabies at the moment. Every night we come out and there's easily 50 just around this house paddock here and then down the front. The other night, I decided to let go a couple of 12 gauge just into the air, in a safe direction, of course, away from everything, and the wallabies just stared at me. So I ended up just throwing shoes, and that spooked them more than anything else. So yeah, I think we're just going to have to try and fence them out of all our gardens, because they would make very quick work of that. Just over here, another thing we have on the grow are some potatoes in bags. So just a couple of spuds that had started to get eyes on them, pop them down in there. The cover over them is more for the chickens at the moment, because when they're let out in the afternoon, they tend to dig these things up. So they also like to go through a scratch through the other gardens as well. But yeah, started them off, and then in a couple of weeks I'll start some more off. They grew better through winter down at Ipswich, so I figure the same thing would be applicable up here near Bundy. Just quickly down here, under my hose reel holder that I have to put up, we have another little wicking container. This one is full of Glenlarge garlic that was grown locally. I saved those bulbs from a load we bought a while back from a local producer at a market, and yeah, I think I put 12 cloves in there, so that's just going to sit there. Now, to go over the top of this, I think I may have shown it in an earlier video. We have a little hoop house over there that we've just shortened up and modifying, and we'll be putting that over there. We're going to raise it up the ground anyway. You'll see that in another video. But you might notice we've got this little doodad here. This is something we picked up from Bee's mum. Thank you very much, Karen. She basically didn't want it anymore. It's the chicken coop that these two came out of. Need to fill up a waterer. Marianne and Ginger, that was their old home back down in Brizzy. So we've got it up here now. We were hoping to turn it into some sort of like a tractorish sort of thing for the chooks, but as you can see, it's just these little push together buttons, and it's not exactly sturdy. It'd need a fair bit of reinforcing. So we're thinking we might just turn that into a just a cover for a small garden area. just to keep digging things out. Maybe use it as a trellis style system, a couple of IBCs at the back, and have bits and pieces growing up on the wire. We don't know yet. We'll work something out for it. But yeah, the other one hasn't been moved over yet, and it should be soon. So there you go, folks. There's a bit of a catch up on what's been going on around the place here. You'll probably be seeing this as we're driving back from a birthday party down in Brisbane. So happy birthday, Rocio. And there will be other updates coming in the next week or so. Bianca wants to get on here and have a bit of a chat about her garden and the plans that we want to do there. So sorry, there just hasn't been much lately. I ended up coming down with some sort of inflammation issue. I couldn't move my hands, my arms, my legs for a while there. Thankfully, while Bianca was away, so I didn't have to get mothered. And then, yeah, when we came back, I ended up breaking out in hives and was itchy all over for 3 or 4 days. Don't eat truck stop sushi. There was something in that, I think, that really did me in. But anyway, that's enough of me whinging. I would like to thank all you folks who are supporting us in the community. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget, you can hit me up for any questions that you have on your own aquaponics or gardening or whatever, and we'll get back to you as soon as I can. Hopefully I get sent notifications. I've noticed YouTube, I'm not necessarily getting notifications when members post the questions there. So we'll pretty much leave it there, and hopefully we'll catch you next time with the beautiful bee. Hope you're all doing well, and have a top one.